Okay, so you just saw a clip of me singing, but what I was going to talk about for today was, I think Eric Dane. He was an actor, and I believe he passed away due to ALS, which is a deadly disease, think. And I watched his speech, and when it comes from a person who's dying, right, it can't get more real than that. So it was extremely powerful. He mentioned being in the present, live in the present. That's all you really have, because the past is the past. The future is unknown. You literally don't know. The future is unknown, but you have the present. You have friends and resilience, or whatever it's called. This sort of thing that you don't give up. You never give up. You come back, you get hit, get punched in the gut, and then you come back 10 times stronger, right? So I found that video really powerful. It's a beautiful thing, right? And it's a shame a lot of people get that awakening when it's too late. Um, not not necessarily too late, but when, let's say, you get the deadliest disease and you realize how insignificant a lot of your problems were, right? And you thought were. Now I'm not going to speak on behalf of him, but what he said was really touching, really moving, and yeah, that's what it's about. No, stay in the present. Maybe you can. I know, or I don't actually know, but you can sort of plan for things, sure, prepare for things, but you never know how it's going to turn out, right? Future is unknown, and the present is the present, and the past, it's gone. Sure, you can look back at it some as a lesson, but thinking I could have done this differently, I could have done that differently, and such, there's no point. There's literally no point in sort of thinking I could have done that differently. Or it is some to some extent, in that let's say you do a bad thing, and you can regret it, of course, but you know what I mean in the context of this, right? You do something, you fail at it, and then you're just sort of, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that. I was in a competition, and I could have done that better. It's too late. It's too late. And that's not to say you didn't put the work in. You probably did, but it's more about, yeah, sure. What what can I do differently next time? But dwelling on the past, on I could have done this better. I could have been blah 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 blah. I could have done. It's too late. What matters is what you are going to do about it now, today. Live, living, and I do find that you sort of, and you have to balance it, of course, because if you sort of having that dead man walking mindset, it's not the same as a man who's not dead or dying, right? Because a person who gets um, a person who gets told that he has a certain short amount of time left to live doesn't have the same opportunities as the other people that don't get that message, right? Yeah, you don't really know what's going to happen, but you have responsibility still, right? You still have, let's say, school, and thinking, let's say, having the mindset of that, and sort of this is not sort of trying to lecture what he's saying. I agree with everything he said in that video. It was beautiful. You should see it. I think I saw it on Netflix or some sort of thing like that. It was amazing. And I totally agree with everything he said in that video. And the thing here is sort of you still have responsibilities. You still have, it's not like there's no point. What is the point, right? You still, there is a point. There is a reason. There is a lot of people still living that has work and everything else that have continued and gotten the opportunity that some a certain amount of people haven't or haven't got. So there's responsibility still, right? But it's all about, saying living in the present, regretting, dwelling, and sort of being not present mentally could be a bad thing because you're not staying in the present. Basically, it's the present. It's literally the present, and it's all about being here, being where you are, where your 2 feet are standing, right? So yeah, and yeah, of course, you're not going to have a perfect day, or you're not going to being totally in the present all the time, whatever. But it's, or perhaps you will, and perhaps you are, but there's no such thing as a perfect day, or there's never going to be a perfect day, right? And there's things to do. There is all that, right? You know, being snowboarding today was amazing. I don't regret that, especially because I didn't have to pay for a ticket, which is kind of fun. So it was definitely worth it economically. And even though I have an early shift tomorrow, I'm glad I did it. So there, and yeah, it's about, and also what he mentioned was doing fall in love. And he said that you don't necessarily need to fall in love with someone, whereas even though he recommends it, but falling in love with someone, something that makes you want to get out of the bed, right? Makes you get through the day. And there is sort of ethical things here, especially what you love. But I would probably, as I would assume that we all know what's right and wrong. Therefore, let's say you love reading books. Fair, fair. You love doing schoolwork. Fair. You love training. Fair. Whatever this sort of training is, if it's weightlifting, cardio, but a bicycle, running, whatever it may be, right? As long as you sort of have something that makes you, oh, going to do this today, and at least I can do this, even though the day isn't going to be as fun as planned. At least I can have this. Not necessarily need to be like the only one thing, right? I haven't gotten to play too much guitar lately, but I've gotten to read a couple of good pages on a book, and I've done some school. Love to do school, but you get what I'm saying. I've read some books, and looking forward to that. Watching an episode of a series, right? Yeah, it's yeah, yeah. Maybe that's not the best example, but you get where I'm going. So yeah, no, it was a powerful message. I recommend every single one of you watching that. Amazing. There's really no such. There's kind of difficult to beat that. A dying man saying his last words to, I believe, his daughters, but it was and to the world. I believe he passed away not too long ago. and ALS is a terrible disease. So rest in peace to him. But what he said was incredible, right? And it makes sense when he spoke those words, right? They and it's sort of seemed how should I say this? It seems like there's all those things he said you shouldn't waste, right? All of that made sense. So yeah. Well, also he talks about friends, right? Having good friends. Choose your friends carefully, and you will get far with having a good friend or friends. One good friend is just as amazing, right? It's all about that, people around you. People around you. So yeah, that was what I was trying to sort of say and mention today. I mean, getting that thought out and such. It's just a beautiful message, and I will continue sort of remembering. I will probably write this down what I listened to him saying and heard him say. So yeah, that was basically the video for today. I think so. Yeah, it's sort of like a weird one, a weird video because the first clip of me is just singing a happy song, and then I'm talking about this, which is not necessarily the most fun thing, but living in the present, singing a crazy good Demi Lovato song with my little brothers, having fun. So yeah. Now I'm going to tell you somewhat about the plan. Yeah, it's basically going to be, I think, relax a couple of bit, read some, do some school, eat some. I need to eat, and then yeah, relax. I think is quite important because I've had a tough weekend so far, and I believe this health thing isn't. Yeah, already gotten a headache as well. Drink water. Yeah, I know. I'm going to drink water. So yeah, with that, I'm going to say, hope you had a good day. Hope you will have a good day. I wish you the best. As always, have a laugh, have a smile, and be kind. And I will see you tomorrow. Take care. Goodbye.